Welcome to Living Local After Dark. I'm Karina Delgado, and this is All Access Salute to Service. We have a special guest with us here today, Drew Matheson, who is not only an Army veteran, but the Senior Director of Capital One Commercial Bank. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Karina. Morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so excited to talk to you today, not only about Salute, which is the program that Capital One has in place, but also about something really special that you have coming up this weekend. Tell us all about National Hire a Vet Day and what benefits and programs you have going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So National Hire a Vet Day is this upcoming Saturday. And what it is an opportunity really to remind the general public and corporations everywhere about the value that vets provide in the workforce. You know, we have a lot of transitioning vets every day. I think the last statistic I read is almost 500 people leave service every day. So really just encouraging employees to have the right resources available for vet transitions, be public in their support, and just help the service members who have sacrificed so much for this country make that transition more smoothly.
And this is a part of a broader program that you guys have there at Capital One. Tell us more about Salute.
Yeah, so Salute is a best-in-class internal network at Capital One. It's for vets, spouses of vets, vet family members, and just general supporters of the military. We have about 1,600 veterans in the group of about 6,000 total members. But it's really a chance for mentorship and network as people, start their careers at Capital One, continue their career development. It's a chance for us to come together, share our military values, give back to the community. We do a lot of volunteer efforts, both in our local community, but also with veteran issues all over America, with Toys for Tots, Stop Soldier Suicide. It's really just a chance to continue to give back and serve the vet community, even though we've left service.
That's outstanding. I think as a veteran myself, I know that so many of us continue service to our communities, even though we've we've left the military as active duty. And so what you guys are doing at Capital One is incredible. Well, what would you say is the reason that Capital One, decided to take the initiative on this?
Yeah, so I think Capital One took the initiative because they saw the difference that veterans in our workforce can really make.
Mhm.
Veterans have really unique capabilities when they come into the workforce. They're adaptable, they're dependable, and they bring leadership. And so having an organization internal to Capital One that can allow that group to foster one another, grow together, and think about how to really amplify their impact across the business is a win-win situation, both for the company and for the vet community.
How can other corporations help and support the hiring of veterans and their families? It seems like you guys, in many ways, are leading the charge on this, but it would be outstanding if other corporations could follow the charge.
No, absolutely. I think number one thing that comes to mind for me is be public in your support. Really get out there on your websites and all your promotional material about the transition resources you have available. Dedicate resources to try to understand the skill set of the veterans, how it marries to jobs, how people, have had success in that transition before. And be very open about it on your websites, right? I think one thing that's unique to Capital One is we have our military skills translator to help people who are coming into the workforce start to say, well, I did this in the military, but it's not going to translate to this job. And it helps them navigate that a little bit more. It shows the caring from, the identification of them being a prospect to the company all the way through the time they end the company years later after a successful career. So I think companies just being more open, dedicating resources to it, and understanding the value that vets really provide to the workforce.
That's an incredible service because I think a lot of people don't realize there are certain skills that come with being a veteran that aren't necessarily, what you're going to find on a job description. Things like
Right.
morale, motivation, being able to complete a task, taking initiative, fully understanding chain of command and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to those liaisons, is that something that you are working with corporations to identify, or work more so working with veterans so that they can fully communicate what transferable skills they're bringing to the table?
We work with a couple organizations. One we work with, and we actually helped found the organization and been partners with them for 15 years, is Hiring Our Heroes.
Mm.
Hiring Our Heroes is a fantastic 11-week fellowship program where you really get to trade in the uniform and try on the job.
Mm.
I think we're very public in our promotion of that, the success we have, and then we use it as an example for other corporations to get involved with similar organizations to help those vets from the time they identify that they're ready to leave the service.
That's incredible. Well, what do you wish you knew when you were transitioning into a corporate role that perhaps any veterans who are watching can glean some wisdom from?
Right, great question. I think number one, I wish I had just been comfortable with the fact that there's not a set playbook for everyone, right? I think that is the number one thing because coming from the military, we're told when our next promotions are going to be, we're told when our next move is going to be, what our next job should be. In the corporate world, there's usually not that playbook, especially in transition when you're starting to get introduced to new concepts like networking. I wish I had known to start networking from day one, using not just my vet network, but my community network, people I had gone to school with, people who are in the companies that I wanted to target, and just approach them, without an ask, but just curious to find out more. And I think also I wish I had reflected on kind of the strengths that we have as veterans, many of which you just highlighted, right? Our
Mhm.
adaptability. We're put in dozens of different situations in a given week, and we still need to get the mission done. The point you were making about ownership. Vets can't let things fail when they're on the job in the service. There's no fail missions all the time. But then also that leadership. Veterans have the advantage of going through what is likely the best leadership course in the world, the United States military. So how can they take those fantastic attributes they have and have the confidence during the transition? It's something I wish I'd realized, but I do now, and I'm hoping to, get that out to vets in their transition today.
Absolutely. And for any audience members who are either veterans or people that are corporations that would like to participate not only in hiring our heroes, but also with Capital One's Salute, how can we stay in touch?
Yeah, easiest way is just to go to our website and navigate to the military resources. On there, we have our salute contacts, we have corporate contacts, but we also have our military skills tool, which helps people identify what sort of jobs they might want to target. And it's just a fantastic resource just to take your first steps.
Wonderful. Well, if you can stick around with us, I'd like to take a little bit of a deeper dive here on All Access Salute to Service. We'll be right back on Living Local DMV. Welcome back to Living Local After Dark. I'm Karina Delgado, and this is All Access Salute to Service. We're here today with our special guest, Drew Matheson. He is not only an Army veteran, such as myself, but he's the senior director at Capital One Commercial Bank, and here to speak with us today a little bit more about their Salute program, as well as hiring our heroes. Drew, as you mentioned, we've got National Hire a Vet Day coming up this weekend, and you guys have some really great things going on with Capital One. Quickly, if we could just recap what you guys are doing, and then we'll get into a deeper conversation about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're promoting hiring our, not just hiring our heroes, but National Hire a Vet Day. So doing a number of conversations with media outlets, really promoting it through our networks, both on LinkedIn, our ambassadors, and then just doubling down on our efforts that we've had the past 15 years for hiring our heroes. It's just a fantastic organization where we've seen great results with transitioning service members, not just to Capital One, but to other corporations. So really just trying to get the word out both to corporations and to service members who may not know this is an opportunity to have an 11-week fellowship at a corporation to really get that corporate tryout. Something that, I didn't have in my transition, but I wish I had. So
Yeah.
I really want everybody to be able to take advantage of this fantastic program.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, as you were describing the fellowship and then talking a little more on a personal level about your transition into the corporate world. I wish something like this was around, or if it was, that I was aware of it. Transitioning into that corporate life, because there are so many skills that you don't realize are going to transfer over. I mean, and it's interesting because you end up doing it almost like muscle memory, I would say, like
Mhm.
when you're in the corporate arena and when you're in the field, just getting, whether it's getting small projects across the finish line or just in your everyday practices. Can you speak a little bit to your experience with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when I first entered the corporate world, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome. Didn't know if
Mm,
I'd be able to cut it, didn't know if I'd be able to do it. But then, after being tried with a few projects, a few kind of tight deadlines, I realized that a lot of the things I had in the military that were ingrained into me
Hmm.
transitioned over really well,
Yeah.
right? I was comfortable with ambiguity. I knew that I needed to think through what is the intent of what we're actually trying to do and how does it help the mission. But then also, I leaned on the leadership I had.
Yeah.
In the military, I commanded up to 135 people in areas of combat. And so coming into the corporate world, I wanted to say, what did I take from that? How can I learn from it? How can I be an empathetic leader and take care of my team members? And as I started to focus on those, I had great success in the corporate world. And I really think there's a number of really competencies we learn in the military that transition super well into corporate life. We just need to really amplify those, really be able to hone down and say, you guys got this. We're confident in you. We can teach you the skills, but you bring so many things through your 5, 10, 20 years of service that are just really hard to teach.
Yeah. So true. So true. Uh, what of that would you say is covered in the fellowship? Well, what does that 11-week course look like?
So the 11-week course, it for all intents and purposes, it's really a crash course,
Mm.
right? You're not going to be a master at whatever job you go into, but you get to discover what does the day-to-day actually look like, right? The boardroom is much different than going to kind of, I'm imagining the infantry locker rooms that my guys lived in. It's just a different feeling. You actually have to pick out the clothes you wear each day. You don't
Yeah.
just get to wear the uniform. And so it's a good opportunity to just try out what this could feel like. Do I
Hmm.
like big corporations? Do I want to go with something smaller? Do I like fast paced or maybe kind of a bigger enterprise that could be a little slower? And also, just where do you want to live, the subject matter you want to work on, and what interests you? Because when you leave the military, it really is a reinvention, right? People are leaving their MOSs and they're going into a new job. It may
Hmm.
not look the same, but it's really an opportunity to take that fear away and give people the confidence that this transition is going to go well. They're going to enter the workforce and they're going to continue to be great assets.
And it's so interesting that it is that 11 weeks because for most of us, our AIT is about that long. So it's kind
Right.
of in my mind when you describe it, it reminds me of that part of the training when you're entering service, being trained for your
Hmm.
MOS, your military operational skill. And so, for service members, if they just put it into that mindset, and then, in some ways it's a little bit like a boot camp, but for the corporate
Hmm.
world, or AIT training, but for the corporate world. And you're learning uh, everything from the small things to the big things that you need to know to make a good transition.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you the confidence to know you're going to learn a lot more, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And how do service members apply for that fellowship?
So just go on search hiring our heroes.
Hmm.
You can select companies you want to apply to.
Hmm.
Yeah, at Capital One, there's 4 cohorts a year on a rolling kind of basis, but that's the easiest way. And then on the Capital One website, we do have links to hiring our heroes and the submission on there. That's the easiest way.
Wonderful. Well, I would like to talk to you a little bit more, not only about the Hire Our Heroes program. I'd like to hear more about Salute and everything that Capital One has going on to support veterans out there. And then, of course, give a little more information for National Hire a Veterans Day. Drew, if you can stick around a little bit, we'll be right back after the break with All Access Salute to Service on Living Local After Dark. Don't move. Welcome back to Living Local After Dark. I'm Karina Delgado. This is All Access Salute to Service, and we are here today with Drew Matheson, an Army veteran and Senior Director at Capital One Commercial Bank. We've been talking about an upcoming event and national holiday, the National Hire a Veterans Day. And of course, Capital One has a great relationship with our military and their programs, including the Hire Our Heroes and your guys' Salute program. We've been talking about during the show just everything that Capital One has to offer, but I wanted to also talk about the fact that you guys really lean into supporting veteran families and their spouses. Can you speak a little bit more to that, Drew?
Of course. Military spouses, they carry such a burden for a lot of our service members, moving around every 2 to 3 years, right? Not being able to keep their careers maybe going as much as their spouses can. relocating with families and kids, just so many challenges. And so we at Capital One, through our Salute group, have really worked to try to expand the flexibility allowed to our military spouses, allowing them to be remote, hybrid, and really just helping them navigate that uncertainty because we understand the difficulty they're going through, but
Mm.
also the fact that they are a tremendous asset to the workforce and to our service members. And our efforts for that actually have led us to be named as one of the top companies for military spouse support, something we're super proud of and really is a testament to the efforts both of the corporation, but specifically our Salute resource group.
As you mentioned, that support to the service member is absolutely priceless. And so when you are able to find companies that allow you to show up for your spouse or any other family members in that regard, it truly is not just, a gift, but it is an intangible benefit that you really can't even put a price on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, with everything that Salute is doing, is there anything that you can speak to that we haven't covered yet? I mean, gosh, it's just been a wealth of resources that you guys provide to the community. Is there anything that we haven't touched on yet?
No, I think the biggest things that our Salute group does is one, help sponsor Hiring Our Heroes and navigate folks through that program, but
Mm-hmm.
also the volunteer opportunities we do across the nation, whether it's battlefield restoration, supporting Stop Soldier Suicide, or
Mm-hmm.
one of the national sponsors for Toys for Tots. It's incredible the amount of side of desk work that that group organizes, where
Yeah.
I think so far year to date, we're over 50,000 volunteer hours from anything
Wow.
from reading to kids to volunteering to clean up battlefields. It's just amazing the enthusiasm and support that program has really been able to drive. And I think a lot of that is Capital One's support of that program, not just from the time we're allowed to spend, but putting resources and groups to really help us amplify that impact.
I, of course, am familiar with, Toys for Tots and even supporting those with suicide prevention, but I'm unfamiliar with the battlefield restoration. Can you tell us more about that program?
Yep. So several times a year, groups of people will go out and they'll really help to just clean up the battlefields, right?
Mm.
These are national treasures, monuments, really storied ground where a lot of sacrifice has taken place in the
Yeah.
United States over the last 250 years. And just making sure we remember that sacrifice that allowed us to be here today by giving back with our hands, cleaning up the trash, helping with the vegetation, just really honoring those who gave so much there.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, for our audience members who have been following along and watching this program, if they want to get involved in any way, whether that's through volunteer work with some of the programs that you just mentioned, or if they happen to be service members that want to participate with Salute, or perhaps even corporations who want to be a part of the program, how can they be in touch?
Yes. So for corporations that want to be a part of Hiring Our Heroes, just go to hiringourheroes.com. You can see what type of corporations are on there, the application process, and really what's expected of both the corporation and the participants. For Capital One specifically, easiest way is to go to our webpage, navigate to military resources, and we have all the information right there.
Wonderful. Well, Drew, I can't say thank you enough for all that you and Capital One are doing for our veteran community. The resources that you guys are extending to us is absolutely, as I've mentioned before, completely priceless. And I'm glad that we can have more open conversations about the amazing skills that our veterans bring into corporate spaces. So, again, National Hire a Veteran Day coming up this Saturday. And Drew, thank you so much for joining us today. It's truly been a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Karina. Really appreciate the opportunity.